Tara, you are chasing the story about the end of watch for New York City police officer Randolph Holder, who was killed on Tuesday night while responding to a call about gunfire. What do you got?
Randolph wasn't your average NYPD officer. He was actually assigned to a precinct that covers 3 different precincts and all of the public housing within that precinct as part of a program that was put in place to have NYPD officers start from the ground up and get closer to the community. And what happens when he's responding to a call? But he is murdered by one of the members of that very community. So what happened last night is that people came out while the suspect, who is now in custody in this shooting, Tyrone Howard, 30 years old, was being arraigned in Manhattan court last night. Over 100 NYPD officers showed up, as well as the victim's family, including other New Yorkers and residents and people from the neighborhood. Now, I am sitting here with somebody who knows a whole lot about that, Tony Herbert. He started his own organization called Advocates Without Borders.
Tony, let me ask you, first of all, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it. Were people harboring this guy? Were they covering for him? What was really happening?
Well, the sense we're getting from community is that a lot of folks knew that he was a bad seed, that he was in the community. No one spoke up and no one said that, hey, I know this guy who pulled a gun or pulled a trigger that possibly shot an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old not too long ago. We know he's in the community, so here he is.
You know, a lot of people talk about the blue line, and a lot of people talk about how cops, they come together. Are we seeing this happen in the community where there's some kind of a code of silence that prevents people from coming forward?
No, we're turning a curve on that right now. We're getting a lot of participation and relationships with the police department, and that's because of efforts that's taking place right now. So I think that there's a positive movement. It's just that there are some people that we still have to bring along that have to understand that they have a responsibility.
I actually spoke to the father of Jihad Marshall. He's a 23-year-old who was killed by a stray bullet, and he was there with me. We both had tears in our eyes, and he was asking for the return of stop and frisk.
Well, first and foremost, let's be clear. Stop and frisk never stopped. It just got reduced. It's got stopped being abused and whatnot. That's what's happening. But we do need it. But we need it with the modification that there's a respect coming from the police officers when stopping people.
Let me ask you, I understand you're calling for a citywide day of solidarity.
Yes.
Prayers and thoughts and a unified message in favor of the cops to reach out to let them know that the community supports their efforts.
Calling on that this Monday. We're on the phones as we speak. I have pastors from all the different boroughs calling up their precincts, engaging the precinct council presidents and the clergy liaisons, saying, let's get out in front of those precincts at 7 p.m. on Monday and do this simultaneously in a unified effort.
And what are you asking people to do? To just show up in front of the precincts?
Shake their hands and embrace them and tell them we have your back and we love you. We appreciate what you do. We appreciate your sacrifice.